Alrighty, like I promised from one of my most epic opening videos, I'm going to be making Jesmon work for BT8 and EX2 format. So let's get started. Hello Digimon players and fans, welcome back to another Digimon deck profile and in-depth building guide video. So for some of you guys who are wondering, why am I doing a Jesmon deck profile video all of a sudden? Well, the first reason is that Jesmon is actually one of my personal favorite Digimons. And not only that, I haven't done an updated version ever since BT6. But most importantly, I mentioned in my Ultimate Cup prizing opening video that if I do pull the Event Pack 2 Altart Jesmon, I will be then making a deck profile for it for this exact format as a tribute. Well, it looks like I did, and I gotta keep my promise, right? Some of you guys may have even noticed that I mentioned first place in the thumbnail and title. And don't worry, we'll talk about that in a bit. As a quick introduction, the Jesmon deck focuses on the traditional building big stack style, but it can go pretty wide on the board at the same time with the supporting Sistermons. As a result, it gives the deck a whole lot of tools to apply pressure with strong DP and power, damage insecurity, removal, and defense all at the same time. I'm honestly really shocked and sad about how Savior Hakmon was restricted to 1. And now Jesmon is no longer as strong as it used to be. However, with the introduction of Chimeramon, the deck is actually now very scary. Imagine having access to this card along with 4 Savior Hucks, which is why I understand the restriction was necessary. Speaking of which, do you guys know that Jesmon will be making an actual real epic comeback in BT10? It goes without saying that I'm definitely going to be covering lots of content for that as well. So if you guys are Jesmon fans and just as excited, then be sure to hit that subscribe button right now and turn on that notification bell to stay tuned. Also give this video a like because it really helps support the channel. Now let's get into the deck profile. Alright, Digi-Egg cards. We play the 4 copies of Greymon, and this is the new addition for BT8 to help Jesmon get more draw power. In many of my videos I mentioned how important it is. It is especially important for Jesmon because Jesmon is known to brick quite a bit, and having that draw power when you're swinging with something with 6,000 DP or more is just very, very handy. And I only like to play 4 eggs simply because this deck is more stack heavy, and you really rarely ever need to go into your 5th egg in this current format, and I just prefer the consistency of being able to draw more cards. Okay, so now let's talk about our rookies, and let's showcase the Hakmons first. We got the 4 copies of the BT6 Hakmon, and then we also have another 4 copies of BT7 Hakmon. BT6 Hakmon is really just one of the best cards in the deck because it is your main key searcher, revealing top 5 on play, and you can grab 2 hits of whether Jesmon, Hakmon, or Sistermons in its name. This one you definitely want to maximize 4 copies of. And just a heads up guys, this card is going to age very well along with the future support of Jesmon coming in, so you definitely want to maximize that. The next Hakmon is mainly we're going to be digivolving this 100% of the time so that we can get the inheritable of when attacking. Once returned, you can also search top 5, grabbing yourself Sistermons, and you just want to cycle the Sistermons as quickly as possible into your hand so that when your Jesmon is coming in, you can play them along together, setting up for your big combo plays. And that's it for the 2 Hakmons. We still have rookies, so we got 2 Guilmons from the Gallantmon starter deck. This one lets you warp into a Gallantmon if your opponent controls a level 6. However, we mainly play for its inheritable, where your turn once per turn, when opponent's Digimon is deleted, you draw 1. Once again, comboing with the draw power that we need, we really need to play as many of these cards as we could so then we can see our combos consistently. And that's really what Guilmon is there for. We also then have 2 Gaussmons with the resurgence of Blue Hybrid and the popularity of Yellow Hybrid. This is really mainly to counter those decks, as well as Green Hybrid a little bit that you do see here and there. It's really just for that case to combat, and hopefully it slows down against those matchups. That's really what Gaussmon is there for. So that will wrap up for all the level 3 red rookies that we can potentially digivolve with on top of our eggs. Now let's talk about some Sistermons, because first off we have Sistermon Blanc, which is level 3. And this one in the middle is the Altart. This one is just generally really good because you want to hard play this and you get to draw one, and it provides all your other Systemons blocker as long as you have a Huckmon, Jesmon, or Royal Knight on board as well. And yeah, that's really what she's there for. 3 copies is always a consistent amount. Comboing together with Systemon Blanc, we do have her Awakened version, Systemon Blanc Awakened. This one nearly came in BT7, and it comes really nice and handy because when you're on play, you slide in a Systemon Blanc from your hand or trash underneath it, and then you get to recover 1, really giving you some defensive capabilities for the deck. And also on deletion, you can cycle back some Jesmons or Huckmons or Systemons from your trash and add them back to your hand, and it's just really nice to have. So that'll be it for all of our level 3s, and let's transition into level 4s, but we still want to talk about Systemons first. So we have here 3 copies of Systemon Xiao, which is our level 4 Systemon. This one also on play gains you a memory back, effectively being a 3 cost, and mainly it provides you DP to all your Royal Knights and Jesmons out there with extra 2000 DP during all turns, and it makes Jesmon incredibly powerful and strong. Once again, if I forgot to mention, this one in the middle is the alt art. Really like it, really fantastic, love the artwork, really stands out and pops. But anyways, yeah, this is why she's just really good, and you want to play a 3 of, and having a good balance in your Systemons is just super crucial. Now we transition into our red level 4s. We have 3 Huckmons. Huckmon is really just there for the inheritable to let you pop lower end stuff when attacking once per turn. If you have a Digimon with Systemon in play in its name, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5000 DP or less. 3 copies is really all I need. I never feel like I really want to have 4 unless you guys want to increase the number of Huckmons that you play to keep your searching more consistent. However, I do want to save more spots for some other level 4s, which are going to be really important as we talk about it, because I do want to play 3 Greymons here. I would originally even play 4 copies because of its security +1. The level 4 space is definitely a little bit tighter, so we can only afford to play 3, and that's really it. We still have more level 4s to go through, as we have 2 GeoGreymons. This one is a little bit more of a new addition for me in the deck. However, he's going to be extremely important because he can come out with security and for free, and then after that, you get to also pop a opponent's Digimon with 4000 DP or less, which is really great. Free body is always fantastic. However, though, this particular GeoGreymon is going to be very crucial as we jump ahead into helping us combo into our Chimeramon plays far more easier simply because of its free body capability. And that's really what GeoGreymon here is for as a 2 of. To round off for the level 4s, we have 1 Agunimon for game. Always nice to have the hybrid, just the win button if we ever need to use it, which is always nice. That's it for level 4s. Let's talk about level 5s. The first level 5 we have is the one and only Savior Huckmon right here. I am extremely sad, and it's super unfortunate that they had to put this card down to 1. And I do agree that this card is just really good. It's very crucial to Jesmon, and with it being 1, really makes Jesmon much more weaker than it ever was since. But what Savior Huckmon does is when Digivolving, you can play a Systemon from your hand in its name for free, and its main purpose of being in the deck is really for its inheritable, because it lets your Jesmon unsuspend once per turn as long as you have a Systemon in play when attacking, which is really good, allowing your Jesmon to make multiple swings and do a lot of pressure on the board. And yeah, I miss Savior Huckmon at 4. I definitely do. So with Savior Huckmon being at 1, there's a lot of discussions on what to fill in for the level 5s now. So we're going to try our best right here. The first card I will definitely recommend and suggest to opt in, and I see most players do so, is the 2 copies of Voltramon. Exactly same as the Greymon that we showcased earlier in the level 4 section. This one gives you security +1, and just so that you can have extra damage is always good. Then I have 1 copy of BlackWarGreymon. BlackWarGreymon's Digiburst effect is really nice because it lets you play a Tamer for free. It also has the inheritable of when attacking, if you have a Tamer in play, you can minus 2000 DP to one of your opponent's Digimon, which then lets you weaken some of your opponent's big Digimon and potentially allow your Jesmon to swing over it. Is pretty handy and pretty clutch at times. Then to round up for level 5s, which we did talk about earlier, we have the 2 copies of Chimeramon. Now that I'm showcasing this card, thinking back, if Savior Huck was at 4, I can totally see why Chimeramon and Savior Huckmon together are just incredibly strong, making Jesmon way too powerful. Imagine if Savior Huck was at 4 and you would be playing like 3 copies of Chimeramon, or even 4, just so that you can always consistently have your Savior Huckmon in your stack. Chimeramon is really our comeback to help us grab our Savior Huckmon back from trash to slide in to help us build the perfect stat that we're looking for when we go into our Jesmon. That's really it, and 2 copies is all you need. So that will be it for all of our level 5s, and now let's transition into our level 6s where we only play the 4 copies of Jesmon. One of the coolest Digimons ever designed. I just really like Jesmon. He looks so good. And the 2 in the middle are the Altarts. My personal favorite in particular is the Event Pack 2 one, and this is what this whole video is all about. And yeah, since we're talking about the Altarts, let me know in the comments on which Jesmon art is your favorite. But anyways, let's talk about what Jesmon does. When attacking, you can play a Sistermon from your hand or trash without paying memory costs. Keep in mind that's not once per turn, which is why when it combos with the Savior Huck, you can gain so much advantage of it. And then its second effect is once per turn though. When you do play another Digimon, whether by effect or hard play it with memory, whatever, Jesmon will then gain 3000 DP and piercing until end of the turn, letting Jesmon to get super strong, swing over many things, and deal damage at the same time. Is just really, really good. And yeah, 4 copies Jesmon, you have to maximize it because it is your core of your deck. That's it for the level 6s, and let's show you guys the level 7s to round off. Got 2 Blitz Omnis right here, always good to have to go for game when we need to. 2 copies is really just the perfect amount because I can see it consistently, but also not too many to clunk up your hands for bricks all the time. That's it for all of our Digimon. Now let's talk about the Tamers, where we play the only single Tamer, which are the 3 copies of Tai. He is your memory tamer, but also giving your big stack extra security +1. Damage is just really important in this deck right now, especially with the lack of Savior Huckmons that we can get, and you just want to do as much as you can with it. So like I said, that's the only tamer. Let's showcase options. First, I have 3 copies of Red Memory Boost. We all know Jesmon is very bricky and clunky. Having Red Memory Boost is just really crucial so that you can search for your key combo pieces as soon as possible in the early stages of the game. Not to mention the delay of gaining 2 memory helps you make more plays and be a bit more aggressive. Like I mentioned earlier as well, this format is relatively fast, so you do need to get into your stack quicker so then you can do your combos and your plays and establish board presence from there. Then we have 2 Judgment of the Blade, the signature move for Jesmon. This is your top end removal card, or generally just your removal card, because it lets your Royal Knight or Jesmon swing over unsuspended things. Comboing it all together, your Jesmon can swing over unsuspended stuff, deal piercing, and play more Systemons at the same time. Is just why this card is really, really good. Not only that, its security effect is ultra clutch at times because it lets you play a Systemon back from trash, and having access to the 3 different Systemons in your trash can really come into clutch when play, and either stopping your opponent from swinging for game or passing the turn is just very nice. And then afterwards, you still get to add this card back to your hand. And that is why I play 2 copies. Last but not least, to round up for all of our options, we have 1, A Delicate Plan. Always really good against decks that have a lot of security stuff that comes out, especially security control or yellow hybrid, or even against some blue decks. And it's just always great to combat those so that you can swing safely for game and end your opponent in that one big turn. That is it for our main deck. Let's talk about a few of other cards I considered adding into the deck as well. First off, we have 1 Beelzemon. Beelzemon is a really good substitute to the Guilmon if you don't like Guilmon's effect of having to delete something first to draw. Beelzemon is always really nice because as long as you're attacking a player, you get to draw 1. So depending on your preference, play Beelzemon or Guilmon. For another level 4 substitute, I have 1 Monochromon. Since I was talking about trying to turbo into Jesmon as quickly as possible, the 1 cost Digivolve is nice, and then the blocker does come in handy sometimes as well. And speaking of which, trying to turbo faster, we also have 1 Fugamon. This one in particular is even better because it also costs 1 to Digivolve on top of level 3. But not only that, it is also a 3 cost drop level 4, meaning you can actually get into your Chimeramon plays even more reliably. But however, as you guys can see with the level 4 slots, it's kind of tight in terms of space, which is why I don't end up adding these cards in. Now, another alternative card that you guys can consider is we only play the 4 Jesmons as our level 6s, but some of you guys might want to have a secondary level 6 sometimes. And we have all the 3 different Gallantmons because we do play the Guilmon. And if some of you guys decide to max out on the Guilmons for whatever reason, having its warp capability into one of these Gallantmons can be really nice. We got the BT2 Gallantmon, and really good card in the late game because you can trash your opponent's security and delete stuff with 6000 DP or less as long as you have a tamer in play. You can play the brand new Gallantmon from EX2 as well to pop more things and just to control the board even more. Or if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, you can play the starter deck Gallantmon on the far right, which gives you security +1 and popping capabilities at the same time. Not to mention, Gallantmon is a Royal Knight, which will synergize along together with your sister mons, and keeping that in mind, that can definitely have some kind of synergy with the deck overall. We then have one really interesting tamer. I did see someone play this and it does have a very good concept behind it, and I have seen it work, which is pretty cool, which is one Alice. So this is a purple tamer out of nowhere. Now for a 2-drop, she gives you quite a lot of value for Jesmon because once per turn, your turn, when one of your Digimon that would Digivolve from a level 5 to a level 6, meaning when you're trying to get into your Jesmon, you can delete one of your other Digimons to reduce the cost by 3. And you usually go quite wide with your smaller Huckmons and your Sistermons as well. And it just really combos nicely because you can pop one of those fodders and then go into a Jesmon for free, and then you can have extra memory retaining for your turn to make even more plays with Alice. And that's just really, really nice and really interesting. Last but not least, to round off for the last card I would also consider is the one Crimson Blaze right here. Crimson Blaze is just really good in this format because you can pop multiple things that are 6000 DP or less, and it's just really good. Not only that, its cost can also be reduced depending on how many Digimon your opponent has in play as well. So now that we covered all the cards for the deck that we could be playing, let's go through some quick combos of how you want to play Jesmon and the strategy overall. So starting off, you would Digivolve your egg, of course, and you in the early stage of the game, you just want to play your Huckmons to search as much as you can, play your Sistermons to draw. If you sometimes can't, play your CLs as well, and not to mention also play your red memory boost. Set yourself up so that you can find your pieces, and you always want to prioritizing Digivolving into this Huckmon and then into your level 4. It can be really anything, but let's just say it's the Bao Huckmon for this case. And then for your level 5s, ideally, you really want to have Savior Huckmon, but you can't be greedy with it because you only have 1 copy in your deck. So if you don't see it in the early game and you have access to another level 5, just go into the other level 5 and build it there. Just continue building and establish advantage as quickly as you can, because that is just so important that you have to move and start going for it. So let's just say your opponent puts you the 3 memory and you're ready to go, or you have enough memory to make plays. You push up your Voltramon and then you would Digivolve it into your Jesmon for 0, and then you can start using your Jesmon to swing. Just swing at your opponent's security as much as you can. Use all the effects to cycle through. Play more Sistermons back from your hand or trash if you need to. And then continue to establish a wide board presence from there. For the second quick combo, it is a relatively newer combo, which is the Chimeramon combo right here. Very simple though. The idea is to grab yourself to save your Huck back. You do need 2 level 4s sort of set up ready to go. Ideally, you have 1 in raising, and then let's just say, luckily you might have a Geogray that's on the board earlier, or if you had another Greymon that has Digivolved on top of a Huckmon for whatever reason. Next step is that ideally you want to be at 3 memory because then you can have value and start making your attacks. You'll push out your Bao Huckmon stack. Now you have 2 level 4s, any like I mentioned. You just instantly go into your Chimeramon right here. And then Chimeramon is Digivolved, allowing you to add your Savior Huck back from your trash underneath it. And then you have a very nice stack going on because now you still have 3 memory. You can go to 0. You can Digivolve into your Jesmon. And now you would have the Savior and Jesmon combo. You can swing into security, unsuspend, proc all these effects underneath it, and then play more Sistermons as well. And then continue to do so. You guys can kind of see why with the addition of Chimeramon, Jesmon becomes incredibly strong. And think it back again, if we have access to 4 Savior Hucks and we can potentially be playing 3 or 4 Chimeramons along with it, does make Jesmon incredibly powerful right here. So that's like the big stack combo. Now I want to show you guys the classic final OTK one-shot combo here. And keep in mind, this combo is the most optimal combo that you can ever have for Jesmon. However, it is not as consistent as it ever was before, but I still want to show you guys, just in case if you guys have a situation that you can pull it off, which is really nice. So go ahead. You do want to have 3 memory with Taikamiya, ideally, and then you want to push up your Jesmon with the Greymon security +1 if you can, of course, with Savior Hakmon and whatnot. Now, this is what you do. You want to have both Judgment of the Blade and ADP in your hand. You play them both. You pay the memory to go down to 1. Judgment of the Blade will let you swing over unsuspended stuff your opponent has. If not, then you don't really need Judgment of the Blade. And then Delicate Plan will give you full protection coverage from the security in most cases. Once both these options are active, you would then swing in with Jesmon. Jesmon will let you play your Sistermon. Ideally, it will be Xiao so that you can buff up your Jesmon with extra DP to make sure it swings over things. Your Jesmon will currently be at 14 with its own effect with Piercing, and then it'll also get another 2000 with Sistermon Xiao, so being at 15. Swing over basically almost anything. And then you would pierce if you swing over a Digimon, but also it will have no options activated. And then that will be 1, 2, and 3 checks. You unsuspend with Savior Huck as well. You can also cycle with your Huckmon and draw with Gurimon. And then you swing again. That's another 3 checks right here. Play another Systemon if you have. And that will be all your opponent's security with no options there. And then finally, to top it off with a sweet game winner, you have your Blitz Omni passing your opponent to 3. Digivolving into Omni, unsuspend, and then swing in once more for game. And that is how the OTK Jesmon combo is done with perfection. That will conclude for my very own deck building strategy and in-depth guide for the Jesmon deck profile for BT8 and EX02. So for all of you guys who stayed and watched until the very end, thank you so much for watching. And yes, like I promised, let's talk about how Jesmon came first. Now, I want to be totally honest with all of you, and I want to make it very clear that I didn't come first place with this particular deck or anything. But also keep in mind, I never said I came first place at any specific tournament with the deck either. So the real truth is that Jesmon is always going to be first place in my heart. I know it's going to sound cheesy, but I know I may have baited some of you, and I just still hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful. But don't worry, we'll be coming back stronger like I said, and ever. With BT10, we'll aim to get first place with an actual tournament with Jesmon. So be sure to hit that subscribe button right now and turn on that notification bell to stay tuned. Once again, if you guys haven't watched the epic opening video of how we pulled this event pack to Altar Jesmon, then go ahead and watch it right now. Because we didn't only just pull Jesmon, we also pulled some really seriously good cards in that opening too. I will leave a link for you guys on the top right with the iCard or in the description box down below. Now, if you did watch that video already, then check out all the other Digimon videos on the channel for the time being. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you in the next video. And this is Avault, signing